Well, hello everyone, and it's good to be back at Berkeley OLLI again. I'll be teaching a new course. The course is entitled Jimmy Carter and Ronald Reagan and the Twilight of American Liberalism. That's a bit of a gloomy title, I realize, but I think it's necessary that we grapple with this period of the 1970s and 80s because it's my belief that Ronald Reagan's victory in 1980 and then again in 1984 when he vanquished Carter's vice presidential candidate, Walter Mondale, that Reagan's victory put us on the path that led eventually to Donald Trump and where we are today. By the way, that's not to say that I feel Ronald Reagan was an earlier incarnation of Donald Trump. I think there are major differences, and we will try to tease those differences out throughout the 6-week course that we're together. But I think it is fair to say that Reagan introduced many of the themes that eventually were picked up on by subsequent conservatives. Newt Gingrich's contract with America in the 1990s, George W. Bush's presidency in the early 21st century, and then culminating in Donald Trump's triumph in 2016. So this is a critical period. I think this is one of those transformational periods in American history that really altered the fundamental dialogue of the way Americans approach politics. So we're going to spend about 3 weeks talking about Jimmy Carter and about 3 weeks dealing with the Reagan New Right Revolution, as it was called at the time. Jimmy Carter comes on the scene as a fresh new face out of the South in 1976, generated a great deal of enthusiasm, not just amongst Democrats, but independents and even a handful of conservatives saw Carter as a new kind of Democrat, one that maybe wasn't tainted by the insider connections of Washington. Carter prided himself on being an ordinary American, a peanut farmer from Plains, Georgia, and that he was going to reverse a lot of the ugly trends in American politics that had begun first under Lyndon Johnson in the 1960s and then with President Nixon and, of course, the Watergate scandal. And Jimmy Carter, with his fresh new look and the wonderful smile that he had, promised a new age in American politics. Sadly, it all went south very, very quickly, and Carter's presidency crashed and burned by 1980, which opened the door then for Ronald Reagan and the rise of the New Right. The New Right was the expression given by the media and then by the participants themselves for those political thinkers in America who felt that America had been going in the wrong direction really ever since the 1930s and Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal. It was Reagan's announced purpose when he runs for the presidency to undo much of the Roosevelt New Deal legacy and to establish a new political, economic, and foreign policy order in Washington. And we're going to see how successful Reagan was and in many ways how unsuccessful he was. He's generally considered to be a good president. Some even rate him as a great president. But I'm going to argue in the class that there are a number of significant failures in the Reagan administration that undermine that position. But I think I'll also be able to give credit where credit is due. I mean, Reagan did provide the country with some direction and confidence that was badly needed at the time. So that's the gist of my new course. I think it's a relevant topic. I think it's one that we need to visit and try to plumb the depths of this period, because I think it did change everything, for better or worse.